Hey everybody, it's me here, and today we're jumping back with another Archetype 101. Today covering set 14, Skilless Videl. It seems like Skilless archetypes have something that Bandai has really been wanting to push. It seems like for the past year now, every set has had some form of vanilla archetype, and in this set, Videl will be piloting one of those vanilla archetypes. But of course, guys, before we get started, if you want to pick up any of the cards we talk about in today's video, I have to point you guys over to 3 Mana Inc., the best place in Canada to get your singles and sealed product guaranteed. But with that said, let's jump right into the archetype. Now, not much of an overview here, guys. Honestly, it's vanilla based. You're going to play some vanilla cards, and your deck will reward you for having vanillas on board by being able to play things for cheaper or by getting additional abilities. And it all kicks off with the leader. So here we have Videl with a wall of text. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card. Auto, once per turn, when one of your Skilless battle cards is used in a combo, draw 1 card and add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So here we have Self-Awakening and effectively turning things into pseudo super combos once per turn, which is kind of nice to be able to keep your hand advantage up. And then auto, once per turn, Spirit Boost 1, which means you can remove 1 marker from a Unison to be able to pay a cost. If it's your opponent's turn and you use the Skilless battle card when the energy cost of 1 in a combo from your hand, when a Skilless battle card when energy cost of 1 in your combo area would be placed in its owner's drop area, play it instead. So this is a great way to be able to start getting those vanillas out on board, and it seems to be this set is very combo centric. We're going to see it later on that the other vanilla archetype is very combo oriented. This one as well, you combo them, you play them on board. Now do be mindful, guys, that because you are playing it instead, you are not going to be able to use like Frieza's healing pod with this, because it never gets played from the drop specifically like other cards would. As a note, also just a 5k leader, Earthlings always this 5k, 10k backside type of situation. So do keep that in mind. You will be comboing a lot with this deck if you're trying to defend yourself, very similar to how like Launch would do it. Then Awaken, when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 1 card, switch up to 1 year energy active mode, then flip this card over. And on the Awaken side, we have Videl, the town's heroine. 10k auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card, choose up to 1 of your green using cards and switch it to rest mode, then add that card's power to this card for the battle. So this is kind of nice way for the leader to be able to push for damage. Do know, I think there's an errata on this leader that specifically like states that the Unison has to be in active mode for it to be switched in rest mode, so just keep that in mind, which does mean you can't like attack and then like switch a non-rested leader over and then like you're good to go. But it does mean that on, you know, offensively, Videl will be able to punch in, which is nice for the aggression of the deck. Then auto, once per turn, when one of your Skilless battle cards is used in a combo, it gets 4k combo power for the battle, then draw 1 card, effectively making it a super combo. The thing that these power boosts that don't give the full 5k is it's a diminishing return. If you use 2 of them, then the 1, 2, 3, 4k difference actually matters. But when we're talking about 1 card, which is only once per turn, so it's only going to be effectively 1 card, it does kind of pretty much turn it into a super combo at that point, which is really good. And it's both you and your opponent's turn, which means you're going to be able to cycle a great amount through your deck. Then finally, auto, once per turn, Spirit Boost 1. When a Skilless battle card, when energy cost of 1 in your combo area will be placed in its owner's drop area, played instead, and it gets 5k power for the turn. So now not only are we also getting the free k, but now it is turning into a beefier attacker. Usually 1 drops are 10ks, so now they're 15ks, which means that they will be able to apply pressure on your opponent's Awaken side, which is a nice balance. Then we have the Unison Intender for the deck. Great Sayman, the mysterious hero, 6k, 1 specified cost. Auto, once per turn. When you remove a marker from this card using Spirit Boost skill, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less in KO. This is one of the better Spirit Boost abilities in my mind. Some cards only deal with like 1 cost. Some of them put back in hand. I think a KO of 2 or less is actually really good for mitigating board control. There's a decent amount of 2 drops or less that you would want to deal with, but you don't always want to use full hard removal on this. So having incidental removal is a really great way to be able to deal with the board. Then +1, activate main, add up to 1 green Skilless battle card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So once you get this guy out, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to set up your hand with a vanilla, which will be able to set up your combos and your free plays and really get your engine going. And then finally +0, auto, when this card is attacked, choose up to 1 green Skilless Earthling card in your hand and use it in a combo, effectively making him an 11k. It's not great. It does protect him from just being a 6k, and then like you get your bonuses for like if you comboed a vanilla and anything like that. So effectively you are kind of playing protect the Unison. And on the Awaken side, it effectively turns it into like a 15k give or take, depending on the card you combo. So it is nice to be able to balance that way, though I do think you might have some troubles having him stick to the board. But nevertheless, he does have some outs both on your turn and your opponent's turn to be able to fix your hand, as well as be able to execute your game plan. A big thing that people tend to do is attack the Unison to prevent the opponent from getting a combo step, prevent them from being able to activate abilities. And this is a great way to get around that, saying, you know, I'm still going to get my combo procs anyways, and you're not going to be able to deny me draws, which is very nice. Then we have the enablers. We have SS Sun Gohan glimpsing potential 2-cost 15k auto. If your lead card is a heroine card, which is nice, it combos with previous heroine leaders as well. Doesn't mean you need to stick with Videl. When this card is played, play up to 1 green Skilless battle card. When energy costs 1 from your deck, shuffle your deck, then choose up to 2 your Skilless battle cards, and they get 5k power for the turn. So effectively, once again, making your 10ks into 15ks on your awakened side. If you happen to use the combo thing and get out the replay, turns into 20k. It's basically just making sure that your vanilla bodies get some longevity in being able to apply aggression. Then activate main limit 1. If your leader card is a heroine card, you have 2 or more green energy, and you choose one of your green Unison cards with 6k power and a marker on it and place this card under it from your hand or battle area. So basically shove this card under it from your hand or battle area, add a marker, choose Unison, then draw a card. Basically, you get to cycle the card and add a Unison marker to the Unison. That's effectively what this is saying. It was a lot of text to basically say that, a lot of requirements. Then we have Heart of a Maiden, 1-cost extra card. Activate main. If your lead card is a heroine card, look at the top 7 cards from the top of your deck and choose 1. Add up to 2 green Skilless battle cards among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you don't have a Unison card play, play up to 1 green Unison card with 6k power among them with a marker on it, then shuffle your deck. This card is really cool, specifically because it either adds 2 cards to your hand, or you can do the Unison thing. And the benefit is that it is after you look at the top 7. A lot of these abilities previously had made you choose between looking at X amount or doing blah, blah, blah. This, because your choice happens once you've already looked at the top 7, you get to choose the best based on the top 7 that you see, which is a really sick design. It's pretty powerful in its own right. Now, because you're only getting Skilless cards, the power level is pulled down a little bit, but it is something to keep in mind because this is a great plus, or it re-enables your deck if you've been pushed behind and lost your Unison. Then we have the payoffs, the things that make us want to be able to do vanillas in the first place. And here we have Videl with all our strength, 3-cost 5k blocker, auto limit 1 for 1 specified green. And if you have a green Skilless battle card in play, when your opponent attacks, play this card from your hand. So for 1 cost, you get to play the battle card, which is sick. She's a blocker, but she also has an additional auto, which is really cool. If your leader card is a green or a heroine card, when this card is played from your hand, your opponent may choose 2 cards from their hand and discard them. If they don't, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards when energy costs 7 or less and KO it. So you're effectively always going to be able to get board control, or if they really want to keep their battle card, then you're going to be able to rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. And on top of being able to do that, you're able to block with Videl, which is super, super sweet. Then we have Sun Gohan Majin Exterminator, 3-cost, 19k, deflect, double strike, dual attacker, so a big beefy attacker. Pardon me, if your lead card is a green Earthling card, green Skilless battle cards in your combo area get 5k combo power while this card is in battle. So whenever you're attacking with this card, your 5k combos are going to be 15k or 10k combos. Plus, if you get the boost from Videl, they turn into 50. Anyway, so you get a big boost, effectively making your combos really, really chunky specifically with this card. So there's a lot of desire to want to battle with this card because you're going to get a lot of mileage and going to force a lot of cards out of your opponent's hand if they don't want to take the damage. Plus, it's dual attack, so you get a lot of versatility there. Makes them a great way to be able to deal with opponent Unisons as well. And you guys are going to find out that through set 14, Unison marker removal will be very, very key to being able to mitigate what your opponent is trying to do. Then there's an auto. When this card is played, you may add up to 1 green Skilless battle card from your drop area to your hand. If you do, place up to 1 green Skilless battle card in your drop area at the bottom of your deck. So again, just being able to consistently keep up the green Skilless stuff on and on and on, making sure that you have them in hand to be able to combo with them, to be able to extend your plays. Then we have the defensive cards. Green has a good array of defense cards available to them. We have Krillin, a brief return, 4-cost, 20k blocker. At the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode. So basically making sure you can be aggressive with him and still block with him. And then auto, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO, choose up to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. So you get punished for doing it. Not insanely so, but marker removal does become way more important as the game proceeds and moves forward. Wicked Mimicry, 1-cost, counterattack, Spirit Boost X, negate the attack. If you removed a marker from your green Unison card using this skill, play up to 1 Majin token rest node. X specifically being that it's 0 or 1. It's their way of being able to do one or the other. There are some cards that do scale with depending on how X is, and while you technically could do more than just 1 for this, typically this just means you have the option of doing 0 or 1 when you negate the attack to be able to get the token. Then permanent, if one of your green Unison cards is attacked, you may activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by choosing 1 card in your hand and discarding it. So this is basically not only just protection for you, but it is also protection for your Unison, which can be very relevant. Then we have Hercule Majin Exterminator, 2-cost 10k super combo. And the super combos for these are very simple. You either super combo them regularly and get your draw 1, or you get to limit 1, be able to shove the super combo under your Unison whenever they use a Spirit Boost, giving it a marker and then drawing your card. So it replaces itself, and you can either use it as a combo or you can use it as an additional marker for Unison, basically replacing the one that you had used for Spirit Boost. Then we have Defender of Justice, 1-cost extra card, counterattack, negate the attack, then choose up to one of your opponent's tokens and remove it from the game. Once again, I don't totally understand why they're specifically targeting tokens with these kind of negates, but I mean, we'll take extra value where we can take the most important part of these negates, of course, being the permanent discard skills can't be negated in any area. We finally have negates across the board in every color that gives us the ability to make sure that we are guaranteed the negate for one specific attack, which is very, very important indeed. Then we have Power Beyond Super Saiyan 2, 1-cost extra card, counterplay. If your opponent played a Unison card, they remove a marker from it. If they don't, choose up to one of your battle cards and KO it. So this effectively really what this is saying is that your opponent won't be able to drop a big beefy Unison to be able to proc off their ultimate. Or some Unisons go to like awkward marker totals based on their minus abilities. And this is effectively what this is saying. Hey, you can remove a marker, but if you don't, you're gonna lose a piece of board. And generally, I feel like if they're dropping something that's gonna win the game, they'll just try and get rid of something on board. But hey, they might not have anything on board. You're in green. KOing their board is definitely something that's an option for you. And then finally, we just have some generic good stuff. It fits in pretty much any green deck, but we do have to include in here as things that can help us close out the game. Son Goku Spirit Bomb, Unleash, 3-cost 15k, activate main, limit 1 for 1 green. If you have 3 or more energy in a green Unison card in play, play this card from your hand. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. So Unison removal, 15k body for the cost of 1, as long as you have a green Unison on board and it is turn 3 or beyond. Activate main once per turn, Spirit Boost X green Unison card, which basically saying, hey, do you have a green Unison card? This card gets 5k power for the turn. For each marker you remove from your Unison card with the skill, if you remove 2 or more markers, this card gains double strike for the turn. So this is where the X scales. Let's say your Unison has 5 markers. Well, you just gained 25k, effectively making this a 40k attacker, which can be very cool. No other keywords, no protection, or anything like that. So this it depends, right? You have to be very careful, but it is a 1-cost. It's a 1-cost to get basically as big of a double striker as you want. So if you basically guarantee that your opponent can't defend the attack, this is a great way to combo this with your Unison to be able to close out the game. Then we have Diabolical Blow, 2-cost extra card, activate main or battle, choose one, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, or need to cost a 3 or less and KO it, then draw 1 card. So it replaces itself, which is kind of nice, especially when it costs 2 for this kind of an ability. Or you get to choose one of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. This can be very clutch. We have the blue one previously that also removed a marker from your opponent's Unison. So more of these abilities, it's very techy, but depending on the type of decks that we're seeing play, depending on the type of Unisons that see play, being able to remove a marker at battle speed is very, very important. So this is a pretty clutch card. Just to have as a tech thought of, keep that in mind when you're deck building. And then we have Majin Buu, Unadulterated Destruction. This card is absolutely insane. 5-cost, 5 specified green, 30k Deflect Revenge permanent. While this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader card unless they choose 2 cards in their hand and discard it each time. So it's basically a permanent topo as long as this thing is in rest mode, which is very cool. No barrier, but it does have Reflect. It also has that when this card is played from your hand, choose all other non-token cards in all barriers and all Unison cards, ignoring barrier. Negate their skills and place them in its owner's drop area. Your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and discards them. And if your leader card is a mono green Majin card, place those cards under your leader. So the under leader is only relevant for the Majin. You could play this in any green deck and it really wouldn't matter. The board wipe, it ignores barrier board wipe. It also gets rid of Unisons. Your opponent has to pitch 2 cards. This card does an amazing amount of things for the cost of 5. Then if you have 5 or more energy, if this card is placed in your drop area from your battle area by an opponent's skill, play this card from your drop area, which means it's going to be able to come back. Now the thing is that once it's removed, it's going to come back in active mode, but it also means that you just have the ability to be able to get this big beefy body on your opponent against your opponent once again. It's not once per turn. This gets to happen over and over and over again, which is super, super cool. There are other things that get around it: warping, sending back to hand, bottom decking. There is removal that touches it. It is not, while it reads as an insane card, I will say that you have to keep in mind to be very careful about it. That some things will work better than others, and this card will work better in some decks than others, and it's a great option for green to have. Especially, I love board wipes. I think board wipes are super powerful, but be careful. I think this card, while it reads insane, or it is insane, there's a lot of caveats and timings that it may not work out as well as it reads. So do be careful when you try and attempt to play with this card. And then, of course, we have the vanillas. Not anything crazy, but we might as well showcase some Videl. I think this is the first time they do this, where the second one in the archetype is just another Videl. So if you really like Videl and you want to play with as many Videl cards as possible, here's a bunch of Videl cards. And then, guys, I've been keeping it up for last. Green is officially tier 0 because they have this insane card. 1 cost, commemorative photo, extra card, activate main. Your opponent may add all of their life to their hand. Absolutely insane. Can close out the game turn 1. And I gotta say, guys, I'm telling you right now, every green deck I make in the future is gonna have 1 copy of this card. Now, if you go 4, nah, you know what? Don't do 4 copies of this card. Then you're just a try hard. No one wants that. But I will have 1 copy of this, and I'm just saying, and this I'll keep to my word. Turn 1, you drop a commemorative photo on me, and you can promise me that is the one of in your deck, bro. That is some Chad level energy right there. That's some Giga Chad stuff right there, and I will. Okay, yo, you got it, bro. Like 100%. You are a powerful man, and anyone who runs this in their green decks as a one of is a powerful man. This is insane, and green is officially tier 0. But with that said, guys, that was set 14 Skilless Vanilla, an archetype based around comboing away your vanillas, being able to get them back on board afterwards, and being able to aggress your opponent with a bunch of really cheap and efficient bodies that you get for rewarding you for being able to play out the Skilless. How would you guys build Skilless Videl? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey, if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hey, if you dislike it, thumbs down works too. If you guys want to catch more of my videos, subscribe button's in the corner. With that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.